Rob here with Cannabis Consulting Nationwide. Hope you're having a great day. Wanted to talk a little bit this morning about you thinking about getting in this business. I thought maybe I'd start just a little bit with my personal history. We've been involved in the industry now for nearly 5 years. My wife and I were the absolute antithesis of what you might think for somebody getting into the cannabis industry and actually owning a cannabis retail store. We saw this as a burgeoning industry that we thought we could take advantage of and maybe do well for ourselves. The other thing that was interesting is I was uncomfortable, frankly, with the industry. Some of the folks that were in the industry, you might be feeling the same way. And what kind of tipped for us getting in this process and staying in this grueling process to the point where we actually had a Washington State legal license was the fact that I was uncomfortable with the industry, and if there was going to be a pot shop, quote unquote pot shop in my town, I wanted somebody like me running it. If you're thinking about getting in this business, there could be a variety of reasons why you're thinking so. This has been a good opportunity, financial opportunity for myself and my family. True. It started off not that way, however. When we first started the process with Washington State, they vetted the living heck out of us. It was a very invasive and continuing, non-relenting, invasive process to get us to the point where we were eligible for a lottery. That's how they did it in Washington State back in 2014. And then once we won the lottery, to actually gain the license and have a location where we were actually legally selling cannabis-related products, it was a grueling process. So gear up and prepare yourself for a difficult process. Washington State's being used now across the country as a model for how other states are putting their regulatory framework together. I'm familiar with the entire process and the evolution of the rules and the WACs and the regulations and the do's and the don'ts. It's a process that's going to be probably very involved, and I would suspect you need to kind of gear up and prepare for many months of a process of getting you through this vetting process. Your state and local police, law enforcement will probably be involved in background checks, as will the FBI. Remember, this is still illegal at the federal level, so you're going to be put under scrutiny that's going to be pretty incredible. Just kind of gear up for that, prepare for that. It's not very private. The other thing is the community reaction. I bet a lot of you are business owners already. You're probably pillars of the community. My wife and I were everything in Ellensburg. I coached. I was on the United Way board. I was on hiring committees at the high school, bonds for the high school, new high school committee, on and on and on. So the reaction, I think, was a little bit more intensified when we announced, and it was announced in the press, that my wife and I were actually pursuing this. People were confused about what was going to be happening. The initiative in Washington State passed in November of 2012. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion about it for a while the legislators went behind closed doors and figured out how they're going to roll this out. The first licensees applied in late 2013. Licenses were granted in 2014, and retail stores opened in July and August. The first 3 waves were July and August of 2014. The public seemed to not be aware of what was going on until some of these first stores were open, and it was like poking a hornet's nest. A lot of uproar, a lot of concern, a lot of misinformation, a lot of facts that are not factually based, and as we've talked about before, a lot of emotion, and that doesn't really lead to good, cohesive, logical, deductive reasoning type conversations. So the grueling process is something that I can walk you through. I can hold your hand. I can walk you through that process. I've been through it. The community reaction, I can help with that as well. I'm going to make sure that nothing surprises you. I'm confident that I can reassure you about the decision you're about to make. Let me put it to you this way, and I'll end this way. If I, as the Rob Hendrix, going into business in the summer of 2014, could have had the opportunity to visit with the Rob Hendrix, now the experienced Rob Hendrix, in the summer of 2018, oh my gosh, what would that have been worth to me? I would have been so much better off if I could have talked to somebody like me back then. So many questions, so many concerns, so many fears, frankly. I don't think that's being dramatic. So I know that I can help you through this process. I know what you might be feeling, and I've been there and I've felt it. I know I can help you. Call me, reach out to me. Let's talk. Thanks so much for watching. Again, this has been Rob Hendrix with Cannabis Consulting Nationwide. Hope to see you real soon. Thank you.